safest and most appropriate at this time. Considering his age, he is too young to establish a preference.
Okay. All right. Testimony this morning, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. From my recollection, in my notes, it states that we stipulated to the mission of the report that was submitted for the July 7th hearing. And I just want to confirm that is still everyone's understanding.
I have a report dated and received August. You mean for the last hearing?
Correct, Your Honor, because I know we were going to keep it open for questioning. And so I just want to make sure that everyone was still in agreement that, you know, it's in the record and we don't need to address it.
Yes, this is it. That's what I have in my notes too, is that we completed the review and permanency planning hearing, but started the termination trial back on July 7th, received all of the exhibits. And then today would be a fresh hearing with the understanding that if the attorneys had any cross-examination on the old exhibits from July, that would be left open.
Yes,
anything further, Mr. McFarland?
No, those are my notes. Almost the same.
Mr. Nelly?
I concur.
All right. Well, then let's head into testimony of Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. If Ms. Kopis can be sworn in.
Where would you stand?
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Kopis. You have provided a court report for today's hearing. Your cover sheet includes the case service plans for both parents, parenting aid reports for Ms. Lomas, and then documents from the Care Pregnancy Center related to both parents. Are there any other documents that you have circulated since you've submitted this packet?
No.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your packet?
No.
Since the last court hearing and your last report back in July, how would you describe the parents' level of compliance with and benefit from the case service plans?
Their compliance and progress in case service plans remains the same as it did prior hearings and in the July hearing as well. Mother continues to be compliant with services. Although we have not seen full benefit of those services, she does continue to complete them in participation in those services. With father, we have not seen emotional stability during this reporting period, similarly to the last reporting period as well. I have seen more movement from father in regards to obtaining services and working a little bit more closely with community mental health than he did prior. But that is also still in the beginning stages.
Thank you. One of the main concerns in the petition for the request to terminate the parental rights is Ms. Lomas, as relates to Ms. Lomas, is her lack of benefit from services. However, there's a disagreement as to whether she's been offered appropriate services in compliance with ADA. During the last 6 weeks or so, have you had an opportunity to thoroughly review the services she's been provided and whether the department is in fact in compliance with Title II of the ADA standards?
I have, and I believe we are.
And can you please tell, for the record, state why you believe that the department is or has adhered to those standards?
While working with mother, specifically working with mother's parenting education providers, each provider respectively created their own plan and a plan with the department to adhere to mom's special needs. Mother Care Pregnancy Center, based on mother's needs and her intake, provided an entire care plan, which was specifically addressed to mother's apparent disability at that time, which allowed for the pausing of videos, extra time in terms of processing, providing feedback, and then an opportunity for dialogue back and forth, as well as Care Pregnancy Center at our request did repeat several important sessions from year one when it became apparent that although on paper mom had understood and had practiced those courses, we were not seeing them implemented. With regards to orchards, very similarly, it was apparent from the beginning that mother would need extra assistance. And so there was time allotted before and after for instruction to be given clearly and precisely what would happen. The lesson plans that were provided to mother were either verbally read to her or given to her. They were in grade school level material which had pictures included relative to that topic of that day. They would then do retention quizzes to ensure that mom had understood the material and that she was able to potentially apply that moving forward. Orchards also did a lot of coaching and modeling of behaviors to give mom examples of how to move forward in parenting. With regards to L&L parenting, there's been a great deal of modeling allotted for feedback, pauses, going back, reviewing information, repeatedly reviewing information over several courses. There's been open dialogue for mother to indicate where she does not understand and where she does, to provide her own feedback. And so with those accommodations, those are how we continue to aid mother. It became very apparent from the beginning that there actually was no other way to work with mom. Had we not implemented those accommodations, I don't know if we would have even have gotten this far.
On Friday, Ms. Lomas' attorney provided myself with a list of accommodations that could be provided to Ms. Lomas. Did you have an opportunity to review that list that was sent over to you?
I did.
Okay. And I'm going to go down them one by one for Ms. Lomas' benefit. The first one, are instructions repeated or written? In the
Okay.
services that are provided, are instructions repeated or written?
Yes.
And those are documented in the reports, correct?
Yes.
And the materials that the Orchards program offers, are those tangible papers?
Yes. So when I sat in on those visits, she was provided with the small packet, 2-3 pages. Again, very large print in a grade school level, pictures associated with whatever the topic was. And then depending on that week, whether Ms. Lomas could read it or it would be read to her.
And was she able to take those materials home?
Yes.
Did she have access to organizational tools like a feeding chart or a calculator or a calendar?
She often used her own calculator on her phone, which was encouraged when she was struggling to calculate time and how much the child had eaten and what time frames he would need to eat in. She, again, used her own calendar on her phone for appointments. But overall, for the case service plan, she has been able to make appointments and arrange transportation fairly well. I cannot say that direct charts were followed. I know that videos and other material were walked through with her in regards of how things should be done.
During parenting time, or during instruction services, was there an effort to reduce any distractions?
Yes, so Orchard would meet with mother privately in the visitation room, which typically the door had to be closed, especially during that time because our office was under construction. So it needed to be closed in order to even just hear yourself think. So she was provided that one-on-one. And then as well as when she works with Linda from L&L, she's also given one-on-one time before and after, in which there's no one else interrupting that time.
During meetings or during parenting time or other services that Ms. Lomas has engaged in, did she have an opportunity to take notes?
She was encouraged to take notes during family team meetings. I know that she had taken notes when it came to the quizzes for retention. I do not believe that we directly told her that she could take notes, but we never hindered her from taking notes either.
During services, was she provided with feedback and like how she's doing or live feedback on any assessments that she might have participated in, or the materials that were being reviewed with her?
Yes.
And what about during parenting time? Was she also offered feedback on how she was doing during parenting time?
Yes, so as part of the L&L, she also had Ms. Edwards as a parent aide. And during those sessions afterwards, or during times when she would transport mother home, they would have feedbacks about what happened during the visit, what potentially could have been done differently, what went well, what we continue to need to work on.
And was she provided an option to step out during meetings when she felt overwhelmed?
When it became apparent during meetings, the opportunity was given to her to step out. She overall did appear to maintain during meetings and not express being distressed, but when it did appear that she was, we did offer for her to be allowed to have a moment.
Did she ever articulate that she was feeling overwhelmed?
No. During meetings, Ms. Lomas never made admissions to any impairment and never said that she was overwhelmed. It just became apparent when she was struggling to speak and would have multiple pauses in her speech.
During your interactions with her or the departments and service providers, do you believe that there were clear verbal and written instructions provided to her?
Yes.
And when there were concerns about whether language was clear, what did the department and or service providers do to ensure understanding or attempt to ensure understanding?
So I know with Orchards, like, again, they did the retention quizzes where they would pause and go through the program or that lesson of that week. And
He
then they would-
describes a child thriving while hinting at parents' risks.
And then they would do the quiz to understand if varies between 3 and 4 questions, multiple choice, so that mother could decide whether she understood what was happening in that lesson. With Ms. Edwards, there's always an opportunity for feedback. And I observed Ms. Edwards speaking with her into clear language. During these moments, I have seen mother articulate that she does understand. There have been moments where she actually becomes defensive and does not believe that she needs us to instruct her, that she knows exactly what she's doing.
Have you observed her with the same demeanor and language during prior court hearings as well?
Have.
Has Ms. Lomas been provided extra time to review materials and or learn materials that have been provided to her?
In regards to her parenting education, she has been provided with extra time to review materials. With the department, I typically email her materials such as like the child's medical passport or case service plan, and I allow her to read that at her leisure and then ask her to come to me when she is ready for feedback or if she does not understand.
Have you discussed with anyone whether you believe Ms. Lomas is in need of a guardian?
It has been a conversation that we have had within the department. We have discussed whether that was warranted at some points. Specifically on the onset of the case and when I received the case in December, whether this warranted enough action to make an adult protective services complaint. Mother does appear to be maintaining at this point, and so we did not escalate to that point.
During your interactions with Ms. Lomas, have you confirmed that she understands what is happening in your conversation or what to expect in court?
I have explained to the best of my ability. She has informed me that she understands. She will articulate that, yes, she understands. However, sometimes she continues to stare at me as if she doesn't. And so I'll ask again if she needs any clarification.
How have the parenting classes and parent aid services been tailored to or adapted to Ms. Lomas's cognitive abilities?
So again, with regards to Orchards, mom's material was changed to the easy reader level, which is my understanding is kindergarten through 5th grade, which also then provided pictures. That is not typical of that program. Those materials were read to mother and the retention quizzes were provided. That is not also a standard within that program. With regards to CPC of Lenawee, their program is designed by videos, also following up with retention quizzes. However, the pause for clarification and pauses to ensure that mom understands, that part is part of their care plan accommodation to ensure that mom is understanding the material being taught to her. as well as repeating several courses from the first year of their program to ensure that mom was retaining that information. She does on paper tend to pass her quizzes, and it does appear that she understands. We just don't always see it in practice. In regards to L&L, again, once more allowing for the instruction before and debriefing afterwards, as well as pauses and modeling to ensure that mother understands what is happening and what is going on in those sessions.
Did L&L Parent Services or Parent Aid work in collaboration with Orchards to support the Orchards goals and materials?
They did. So anytime mother was provided with her lesson plan and quiz, I would then provide that to L&L Parenting so that they could support that lesson that had been taught. Ms. Edwards did find that most often mom did not quite understand or remember the lesson from going from her visit with L&L to her visit with Orchards and vice versa.
How frequently would you check in with, or did other service providers check in with Ms. Lomas during any interactions, if you're aware? I'm sorry, I need to rephrase this question. The accommodation request is frequent check-ins by a support worker or case manager to ensure understanding. How did the department or service providers accommodate that request?
Mostly by observation as to whether mother appeared overwhelmed or appeared to understand the material. Again, she often articulates that she does understand. And so they were able to move forward, but then again, we don't see it in practice. And so there's quite a bit and often pausing of making sure that mom understands, or if there's a better way of phrasing for her to understand information.
As relates to the services that are outlined in the case service plan, do you believe that it's presented in a small, manageable, or in a way that it breaks it down into small, manageable steps?
I do.
And the issue has not been mom's compliance with the case service plan, correct? She understands what's expected of her, correct?
Yes.
The service providers, such as those providing parenting classes, therapy, supervised visitations, are they provided by professionals that are trained or certified in working with individuals with cognitive impairments?
Specific training, I can't say I know that they're all professionals. They all are trained to do their program. Ms. Edwards has a vast knowledge of working with both children and adults with limited impairments. But to say a specific training or certification, no, I don't know that.
You're not sure about that?
Correct.
Okay. Has Ms. Lomas been provided with lists of expectations to prepare for upcoming meetings or parenting times or services tailored, whatever that means?
I mean, during the parenting education portions, she's met beforehand, and the lessons are presented and the expectations of what will be worked on and what is adhered to in that lesson and in that parenting time, because both with L&L and Orchards, the time before that is where they would discuss expectations and instruction. Then the visitation would be supervised by that coordinator, and then the debriefing would happen after the visitation was over. And so they got a full scale of giving the instruction, providing it, getting the feedback, watching her attempt to implement those services, and then a follow-up afterwards. And in my experience in sitting with Orchards, and then occasionally I would walk in L&L's time, I've seen them use appropriate language with mother.
Did Ms. Lomas ever request, and or has anyone ever requested prior to Friday, disability informed advocate or support person to attend case meetings, classes, or hearings with Ms. Lomas?
No, Ms. Lomas, the entire duration of this case has been adamant that she does not have an impairment. We did have a FTM in the early part of this year in which mother argued that she did not believe that the IQ provided in the 2019 psychological completed for Social Security benefits and the 2024 psychological completed for the department, that neither IQ was accurate and that she did not believe that that was an accurate reflection of her functioning. And at that time, we had advised her that she should seek a way of obtaining that herself then. But she was adamant at that point that she did not have any impairments and that she fully understood what was happening.
And then there's a request for an agenda prior to meeting what you guys are talking about. Has that been provided, or how do you interact with Ms. Lomas in a way that there's some knowledge about what's going to be talked about prior to a meeting?
Most of my communication I do attempt to do verbally. However, mother does struggle to have oral conversations, and so it does appear that text messaging is the best way to communicate. When communicating meetings, I do tell her, like, I ask for her input about when times and places should be for these meetings. I remind her that she can have a support person with her. She often chooses her partner or her mother, who have been frequent to our meetings. And then we do discuss what is on the agenda. And so if we're only discussing case service plans or only discussing parenting time, I will tell her that. Generally with meetings with mother, we don't try to do more than 2 topics at a time because that becomes overwhelming. So usually its focus is case service plan compliance and then maybe parenting time as well. And we try to keep it to that.
All of this has really been focused on Ms. Lomas. Have the same accommodations spilled over to Mr. Harmon Duckworth?
No, mostly due to lack of compliance. Mr. Harmon Duckworth, other than email, does not have a direct means of communication, and there's been an unclear means of how to communicate with him. In some conversations, he has informed me that I need to speak directly to him, despite him not having a phone. However, in other areas, he has said that it's okay to communicate with mother regarding that, and that's fine. He does not always respond to emails as well. He does meet with me monthly as agreed upon. And during those conversations, we do attempt to talk about the case service plan and where he's at. It is rare for him not to become escalated and defensive during those conversations.
And during this, the duration of this case, has there been any progress in his, I guess, treatment of his mental health?
No, there has not. He has not had consistent mental health services since the onset of this case. There was recommendations following his hospitalization in September of 2024 that did not appear to be followed up on. Mr. Dad has a habit of disagreeing with his service providers, and once he's decided that they are no longer in support of him or they do not agree with him or he does not like what they are saying, he tends to leave that service provider and move on. With the exception of most recently, he did have an insurance issue with ACPC. However, that insurance issue was an issue that Mr. Duckworth created himself and was not listening to what was being requested of him multiple times. And instead of
Mr.
I'm sorry, but I apologize. That was a oh no, because to repeat, I mentioned directly to
Hey,
her
Mr. Harmon Duckworth,
repeatedly.
I'm going to remind you that you will have an opportunity to.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said oh no. That's why I was trying my hardest.
I understand. We're going to need your best efforts to not interrupt until she's finished, and then you'll have your opportunity.
Sure.
Do you need the question repeated, or do you need to?
No, it's fine. There was an issue with insurance. It does appear that early in the case, he was asked to provide a bank statement, and that was in September in order for him to have full Medicaid. When that did not happen, he was transferred into a different plan, which basically only covers emergency care. But instead of he did not provide me with a bank statement until after the new year. And then instead of providing the bank statement as needed, as requested, furthermore, he just continued to reapply for the services. And then finally, I do believe it was in May that he provided the bank statement to the state of Michigan for those services, and his insurance was implemented once more.
Has he, can you please just refresh the record as to why Mr. Harmon Duckworth is not receiving or did not, I'm sorry. Can you please refresh record as to why in-person parenting time with Mr. Harmon Duckworth was suspended?
My understanding is that at the onset of the case, he had posed a safety risk. There was an incident with a knife, and the department and the worker at that time felt it was not safe for him to have in-person parenting time. And then as well as we received his.
Yeah, I guess I'm objecting. The reason is this is a review and we're covering what's happened during the last period and we're going way beyond. the
And I've
last-
already
Hang on, I'm not against talk, sorry. And we're going way beyond that time frame, Your Honor.
Would you like to respond, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, I can appreciate that for a standard review. However, I believe at the onset of the record today, we've all been in agreement that this is a continuation of a termination of parental rights hearing. And some of this information is relevant as it relates to best interest factors and the parents' compliance with parenting time, or how often they've had parenting time.
Any other comments, Mr. Noe? Or,
I'll do the court's discretion.
I would concur with Ms. Thomas due to the fact that it is a termination trial.
yes, some summary and limited review of the record as a whole for purposes of determining whether or not there's been progress on our case services plan in different areas is appropriate. So I will allow it. But I appreciate Mr. McFarland reminding us of that fact, because I too wish to avoid a complete review of the record. So you may continue this.
Thank you. So there were safety concerns, is that correct? And then the psychological evaluation recommendations?
Yes, it recommended.
Mom struggles with lessons, even simplified step by step. Despite extra support, she fails to apply what she's taught.
At least 6 months of emotional stability for us to move forward with father. And we have not seen that over the course of the case. And we have not seen that during this reporting period or any other. In actuality, Mr. Harmon Duckworth has become very defensive of that situation and has repeatedly claimed that the department is being hypervigilant and that we are taking things out of context and that he does not believe then or now that he was a safety risk.
And does the department continue to offer virtual visits or virtual parenting time to him?
We have repeatedly offered him virtual parenting time. His answer through the course of this case has remained the same, and that he finds them to be triggering. He does not see the potential for the bonding between him and his child through virtual parenting time. He continues to request in person and believes that that is the only way for him to establish a bond with his child.
Is there anything, but just briefly, I want to kind of get into those best interest factors. Have you been able to observe the bond between the child and Miss Lomas?
Yes.
And how would you describe that bond?
The bond is limited. It does not fully appear to be there. Miss Lomas does make great efforts to engage with her son, to get reactions from him. She does do a lot of serve and receive attachment. However, she does not always get it in return. So she does put it out there. He doesn't always return it. There are moments where she's attempting to do that, but instead of watching for his response, she will look to myself or Miss Edwards to see if we are watching her. And so she doesn't always pick up on the feedback that he's giving. But the effort for the bond is definitely there. Mother does try her best to secure a more close bond. It's just very limited at this point.
There may be a question as to whether that is simply the child's temperament and behavior towards all caregivers. Have you observed anything different from him to anyone else?
I have. I've experienced it myself while visiting him in the home. I've also seen him interacting with his caregiver, the foster mother, as well as the foster mother's mother. I apologize. And I see a completely different child. He's very enlightening. He's babbling. He's talking back. He's very noiseful and very much is heard in that home. I've seen him be affectionate, where he leans in for comfort and guidance, where he will snuggle towards someone. And those are just some behaviors I had not observed with Mother.
Is the current foster home willing to adopt this child?
Yes.
And do you foresee any barriers to adoption with this family?
No.
Have you been able to observe Miss Lomas and Mr. Harmon Duckworth's home?
I have.
And does it have adequate space for the child to be there as well?
It has adequate space when Miss Lomas's mother is not in the home. Yes, there is adequate space for the child, yes.
And this, I don't know necessarily how to word this, but do the parents have, or have they prepared for the child to be returned to their care? Like, do they have any materials there in anticipation that he might be returned?
They've had some over the course of the case. I would never say that they were fully ready for him to return. But they have had various beds based on our recommendation over the time that he's been there, or the time that they were anticipating him to come home. They have had clothing, diapers, certain formulas, various car seats, again, depending on his size. However, none of these items have been particularly all given or obtained by the parents, but rather were provided from CPC of Lenawee as part of their parent education program. When I spoke with father regarding these, he often talks about having appropriate toys in the home, and that seems to be his focus, as opposed to the other more essential things, such as baby gates, baby security things, so they don't get into other things.
Is there anything else from your court report or anything from your knowledge of the case that you'd like to highlight for the record today?
I was informed by mother approximately 4 days after an incident recently, within the last 30 days, that father did have an incident with an altercation with the neighbor over some recycling bins. I was informed that law enforcement was contacted to the home. However, when I contacted Adrian PD and requested records, they did not have a report. But father made it a point to inform me like Friday of that incident again, letting me know what had happened and describing the altercation as well.
Okay. All right. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Kopis and would ask the court to accept and receive the documents that were provided for today's hearing.
Objections?
No objection.
None. None.
Thank you. They are received. Cross-examination, Mr. McFarland?
I do. I understand the disabilities of my client to be under the American Disabilities Act.
My understanding is that it is regards to his mental health, which is what he was approved for Social Security for.
And is he receiving benefits for that right now?
Yes.
So what accommodations are you making specifically for my client's mental health? And, well, let me backtrack. What specific mental health issues is it your understanding that creates this disability diagnosis?
I am actually not aware of Mr. Harmon Duckworth's diagnoses. I am aware of what their potential was that each provider wanted to treat him for. I know that when he had gone into the hospital, they had said that at that time he was having bizarre behavior and that they were unable to fully finish their assessment because he was not adequately answering the questions. They would ask a question in regards to the here and now, and he did not appear, the answer would not be even in the realm of what that question was related to. It would be completely off base. And so at that time, they had a hard time assessing him. At this point, he has not stayed with a provider long enough for us to assess further into that.
My understanding, you said the parents are not fully prepared for return to the child, but you're seeking termination of parental rights at this trial today, correct?
Yes.
And why should there be a need to fully equip a house if the child, if their rights may be terminated?
Multiple reasons. One, they were preparing for their child to come home. And with regards to Mr. Harmon Duckworth, it was not necessarily what was in the home that was concerning, it was the conversation of what needed to be in the home and the focus being on toys, whether they were age appropriate or not, as opposed to how to ensure that they had enough diapers, how to ensure that they had enough bottles, what food stage he was at, those things of that nature. He was, when we talked about the bedding needing to be different, that he was out of a bassinet and that he needed a full crib, he did understand that and he did make arrangements for that to occur.
Let me put this in perspective. During the last review period, has mother had a visit with the child in the parent's home?
No.
Are there any, if this case continues and does not wrap up today, is there any future expectation in the near future that there would be a parental visit in the parent's home?
No.
So having gates, things of that nature really isn't a priority if there's no anticipation of an infant visit with the parent at the home, correct?
No, I would disagree with that. I think that the parents are actively planning for their child to return home, even through all of these conversations. And so I would expect that they would plan and prepare for that.
My understanding is that your expectation is that my client, the father, would form a bond with the infant without personal contact with a minor child. Is that did I hear you correct?
I suspected that he can do it. What I would like for him is I needed him to be emotionally stable so that he was safe enough to visit in person, and we never achieved that during the course of this case thus far.
With absolutely no parenting time suspended, do you agree that it's not possible to form a bond with the child if your parenting time has been suspended?
Was parenting time was not suspended. His in-person was suspended. He was offered virtual, and I do think that he could have bonded and made rapport with his child through those virtual visits.
How old is the child?
He was 1.
The child was removed from the hospital from mother initially, correct?
Yes.
Still believe a bond can be formed with a 1-year-old by Zoom?
I think the beginning stages of a bond can be built. I think that this child could have learned his dad's voice. He could have understood what he's saying. At this point in the child's development, he is learning from videos and understands what television is. He would recognize a moving figure on a screen.
Let me go back to my initial question and what accommodations have you made for what you believe are my client's disabilities?
We have engaged father in trying to implement mental health services. He has been very resistant to all of those services as he does not believe that he has an impairment. During family team meetings, he's been allowed to move around, pace. He's been allowed to speak as he needs to. He does often need to be reminded to not speak over other people, but he's been allowed to freely express himself. He's been allowed to dictate his treatment as he believes it needs to be. And we continue to work with him. I have also worked extensively with our payment assistants to understand why his insurance and what was going wrong with that. We've also provided him with bus tokens to these service providers.
Over here, let's get the report. Yes, my client was taking parenting classes here in Adrian, correct?
Yes,
Apparently there may have been an excused or unexcused absence or lateness in which he was dismissed from the class. Am I understanding that correctly?
no, that's not what happened.
Okay. Now, my understanding is not attending a parenting class in person right now, correct?
He is not. So my understanding is
That's fine. Are you aware that he has on his own accord been taking parenting classes via the internet? Are you aware of that?
No.
You are aware that there are parenting classes through the internet, correct?
I'm aware of that.
And some people may work best in a low pressure situation, such as an internet versus a personal meeting. You would agree with that also, correct? Some people.
Some people.
For those.
Sure.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Copus.
Good morning.
Ms. Copus, when were you assigned to be the worker on this case?
Approximately December 5th of 2024.
Okay. It's about 8 months or so.
I've been actively working with the family, yes.
How many reporting periods have there been since then?
Our reporting periods or the court's reporting period?
How about the court's reporting periods? Good question.
I believe we're on our 3rd. I apologize for if that's not accurate. I believe we're on our 3rd review.
Were you the author of all those court reports?
Yes.
It's the department's understanding that my client has some sort of documented cognitive limitations. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You would also agree that the department knew about that from very early on. Is that also correct?
Yes.
And you also understand, you had questions from Ms. Thomas earlier. You understand that DHHS is required to comply with the ADA when providing services. Is that also correct?
Yes.
Is it also your understanding that requires that my client be given reasonable accommodations and modifications for services to cover those disabilities? Is that also correct?
Dad refuses virtual bonding, calling it too triggering. He insists only in-person visits can make him a father.
Struggles with reading comprehension.
That's difficult to assess because I believe that she struggles with it based on her testing and assessment, and based on my conversations with her. However, when we speak with her, she tells you that she does not have an impairment and that she can read absolutely fine, to the point that she has showed me different things that she has written, such as poetry, her high school diploma, and she has talked about going to college. Those conversations, she does tend to get defensive and does not believe that she has an impairment.
But the plan itself expects my client to, and I quote, follow written instructions. But again, based on your own testimony, you would agree that she has issues with reading comprehension, correct?
Yes.
Were any attempts made by the department or any providers to substitute pictorial instructions or hands-on modeling or something like that, as opposed to written only instructions?
Well, during the parenting education over the 3 respective providers, we did use a variety of those. So we did use modeling, they did use videos for visual aids, and then they did use written instruction, depending on where they were in each stage and mom's understanding at that time.
You didn't ensure that all service providers were trained to work with individuals with intellectual disabilities, correct?
We've not specifically asked for that training, no.
The plan schedules parenting time in the same setting and format as other parents without disabilities, correct?
No.
Would you agree that no additional support person was provided during visits to help implement skills in real life?
No, I mean, Orchard's provided a one-on-one aid in parenting, L&L parenting, as well as the parenting aid was the one-on-one provider, instructor, and aid that would assist mother in those programs and understanding of material.
Do you know if those sessions were ever videotaped or recorded?
No,
I should ask that a different way. Were they recorded?
not to my knowledge. We would not record a parenting time.
Is that something the department has previously done?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Is that something Orchard or L&L has ever done?
No.
Don't you believe that was somebody who, according to the department, my client has an intellectual disability with benefits to be able to have that recorded, be able to review that later on and get feedback?
I don't know if that would benefit her.
So, despite the department's position that my client has an intellectual disability, DHS did obtain a specialized ADA assessment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did modify the case service plan content to accommodate for ADA requirements, correct?
Case service plan itself, no.
It also did verify independently that service providers were disability trained. Is that also correct?
Correct.
Earlier, you testified that DHS made accommodations for my client's intellectual disability through the service providers. Is that correct?
Yes.
And would you also agree that those accommodations were part of the case service plan that was done in anticipation for the family? Is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Sure. Those accommodations were part of the case service plan that was done for the family, correct?
Yes, they were part of the case services for mother.
Do you see anywhere in that case service plan that had any language about providing services in plain language, or if there's visual aids at all?
No. Well, Orchard, I'm sorry, I take that back. I apologize. With Orchards, there was written instruction, and with those, again, there was pictures or charts related to whatever that lesson plan was that was provided to mother. But once more, through all of these accommodations, mother did not ask for accommodations and actually became defensive, saying that she did not need us to do those things.
Okay. In terms of the accommodations, you testified today that your understanding the accommodations were provided in compliance with the ADA. Is that correct?
Yes.
When was the first time you documented these accommodations in your report to the court?
They've always been documented because the entirety of Ms. Lomas's program has been designed around her mental impairment, her whole cognitive impairment. We would not have been able to teach her in any other way. All of the things that we have implemented now have been implemented from the beginning. Things may have changed in terms of structure as we learned Ms. Lomas, but providing the extra time, the feedback, the pause for clarification, those were all provided through the entire course of this case.
Can you document it in at least in any court report where specifically you addressed that these were the ADA compliant accommodations?
They're not in court report, no.
Would you agree, is that true? That reports have spanned, I think, 3, you said over several months, there's been no mention of specifically accommodating my client's apparent disability in compliance with the ADA.
There was no wording that described accommodations, but rather mom's participation in those services. And it's my understanding that the goal was to provide accommodations so that she could learn the material and that she could bring herself up to standard instead of lowering the standard for her to fit.
Do you have any sort of written policy that the department has that defines what constitutes an accommodation for a parent with an intellectual disability?
Accommodation is anything outside of the standard program that individualize each plan to meet the parent's needs.
Did you ever explain to Ms. Lomas that what you're providing was meant to be an ADA accommodation?
We did not use that phrasing. We told her that these were being made to clarify that she understood what was happening and that she could best gain knowledge of the material that we were providing her with.
Were those accommodations ever listed in the treatment plan or case service plan?
They were not.
You mentioned that, for example, I believe one of the providers does one-to-one time with the parent. Which provider is that?
All of them. My understanding is that CPC of Lenawee is typically done either in office or in home on a one-on-one session. It is my understanding that Orchards provided one-on-one sessions with mother because I had observed those, and then LNL also provided one-on-one sessions.
And are those one-on-one times given to folks who don't have an intellectual disability?
If needed.
So you would say these services that were offered really aren't necessarily different that's offered to parents that don't have any sort of disability according to the department?
I would disagree with that statement.
Would you agree that repeating instructions one time is not the same as providing tailored ADA accommodations?
Instructions were repeatedly given to mother over a variety of time in various situations for her to understand the material.
Isn't it true that just recently in the last few weeks that the department has been working with my client's counselor to address the accommodations?
We've recently received response back. We've been attempting to work with her for several months.
Would you agree that it is a department's responsibility to provide services that are compliant with ADA?
Do.
Would you agree that if services were provided that were not modified just to fit her specific needs, the department did not provide reasonable efforts?
I do not agree with that, no.
You said one of the other concerns you had was the bond that my client has with the minor child. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you agree it's hard for somebody to build a bond like that when you only see your child a couple hours at a time, a couple times a week, maybe?
I would disagree with that. I mean, I think that depends on each family. I've seen it go both ways.
During my client's parenting time, was she ever distracted during that period of time, either by the department or one of the service providers trying to talk to her while she's trying to have time with her son?
Yes and no, because for the most part, they do leave her to engage with her son. However, there's often times where coaching and modeling and intervention is required in order to safely ensure that she is parenting her son. So was the intention to distract? No. Did a pause need to happen so that we could ensure the child's safety? Yes.
Is it your understanding that my client is in compliance with her mental health treatment?
Yes.
Is it your understanding that she's also being, one of the things she's being treated for is anxiety?
My understanding is that she's being treated for anxiety and ADHD.
In your interactions with her, you've noticed the issues with the anxiety, correct?
Have
Would you agree that they have baby gates at the house?
I do not recall. My last home assessment would have been at the end of April, so I apologize. They have mentioned it to me more than once.
Who's mentioned it to you?
Mother and father have mentioned the baby gates to me. I just have not visually seen them in the home.
What other preparations have they made for their home if they would have the child returned to them?
They've had clothing, they've had bottles. They did not have formula food. Again, I understand that in terms of anticipation of when he'd come home. The bedding has not always been quite right. Again, they did rectify that. The remaining part of the home is lacking furnishing. Other than that, they mostly have toys and a car seat for him.
Do you know that does the department have a called ADA coordinator or something like that that would help coordinate case service plans to comply with ADA?
I'm unaware, I apologize.
Did you receive any sort of specialized training to comply with ADA?
No. I did seek their technical assistance from their website. There's an entire several articles specifically at rights and responsibilities, a technical tool guide for child welfare agencies working with parents in foster care.
You read that?
Okay.
Okay. When was that?
For the last 2 reporting periods, I want to say.
Okay, all right. Don't you think it would have been helpful on this case to have somebody who is trained in ADA compliance to assist with the family with the case service plan and the service providers?
Yes and no. The goal was not to be in ADA compliance. The goal the entire time was to have an individualized tailored plan to best help mother retain the information so that she could safely parent her child. So no, being ADA compliant fully was not the goal. The goal was to ensure that mother understood and that all the individualized plans were aimed towards that.
Has my client attended all of her parenting times that she's allotted?
With the exception of one, there was a miscommunication, which would have likely have happened in any case. So that is, I won't say fully at fault of mom,
Okay, fair enough.
but yes. She missed one for a medical issue, but yes, overall, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Are you aware also that my client recently completed
Yes.
a CPR course, the Red Cross?
Yes, and to my knowledge, that would be her 3rd. So she completed infant CPR with CPC of Lenawee twice, and then I did receive documentation from the Red Cross. I'm sorry, from my supervisor, which mother had provided.
She's also attended and completed all the parenting classes through CPC that she's been asked to do so by the department. Is that also correct?
Yes, yes.
No further questions this time. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood, any questions?
Yes. Hi, Scopas. You drink water or anything?
If I could please.
Yes. Been talking for a while.
Thank you.
Usually catch that sooner, sorry.
She has a water bottle right here. Is that your water bottle right there?
It is.
Would you rather have your water?
That's fine, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready?
Yes, thank you.
All right. I'm going to try to be brief because I know a lot of these issues have already been discussed thoroughly. However, there's a few additional questions and clarifications. Are there concerns with domestic violence in the home?
There are.
Okay, was that one of the reasons why the child was brought into care?
Yes, there was a lot of verbal altercations in the home, specifically between Ms. Lomas's mother and father. That continues to happen. We've discussed with both parents the potential for couples counseling. They declined that service. We've discussed healthy boundaries. Ms. Patty Lomas being in the home is a very significant trigger for father, and yet the family does not address that as an issue. When directly spoken to mother about her needing to aid in this discord in her home, she tends to freeze up and will not pick either side.
Aside from the domestic violence, are there concerns that there's a power or control dynamic between Mr. Harmon Duckworth and Ms. Lomas?
Yes,
Does Mr. Harmon Duckworth tend to talk over Jackie?
tends to talk over Jackie. He tends to answer for her. There have been meetings where he's blatantly told her to stop talking so that he can answer a question where she had, or vice versa, where she has attempted to calm him down and he has lashed out at her saying that he doesn't need her assistance. And so there is a discord between them.
Thank you for that. There was a question that was asked by Mr. McFarland with regards to parenting classes and why Mr. Harmon Duckworth no longer attended those. Can you clarify what happened?
It's my understanding that father had been working with CPC of Lenawee since January. There had been some ongoing issues. They had attempted to accommodate him. He had some issues with his eyes and the inability to see. They had questioned, he repeatedly told them that he did not need that program and that he did not understand why this was even warranted because he had all the parenting skills he needed. And then in particularly somewhere, I do believe around July 16th, there was an episode in their office that allowed small children and other women in the facility to be exposed to his erratic behavior. And at that point, they did a pause in his services and referred him to Tranquil Parenting.
Thank you. In creating, so case service plans in general are designed for each parent, correct?
Yes.
So it's not necessary that each individual accommodation be included in that service plan, is that correct? So those accommodations are more between the service providers and the department to coordinate?
Yes, based on how their program is already designed and based on the needs of the parent moving forward.
And you believe throughout this entire process, regardless of whether you utilize ADA lingo or jargon, everything that the department has done has been in compliance with the ADA?
I do.
And it wasn't up until very recently that there was even a question as to whether the department was complying with ADA. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So to your knowledge, is it your understanding then that the ADA just requires the government to give people with disabilities an equal opportunity to benefit from their programs?
Yes.
Okay. It's not that the department hasn't done anything to deny either party from participating in their case service plan or allow them to participate in any of the programs or services. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is it a requirement that all service providers be required to or be specifically trained in ADA compliance?
It's not my understanding, no.
Just so we can be clear as well, there's questions with bonds. Ms. Edwards has seized this minor child about the same amount as currently as Ms. Lomas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have you observed the bond between the child and Ms. Edwards?
I have.
Okay. And would you say that the minor child knows and has bonded with her Ms. Edwards over the course of the last several months?
Yes.
Okay. Does he recognize Ms. Edwards? And you've also regularly seen the child. Do you believe that your bond has strengthened with this child throughout the course of the reporting periods?
He's very affectionate. He does seem to recognize me during home visits. And I, at this point, see him sporadically when I check in on their visits, and then I see him once monthly.
We all understand that this is a very difficult situation to be in, and I'm sure it's not easy for you to be up on the stand to talk about all of these things. You believe Jackie loves her son,
Absolutely.
and you believe she's doing everything that she can to attempt to have the ability to parent her son.
I do.
And unfortunately, would you say that that's not the case with Mr. Harmon Duckworth?
Agreed.
Just to be clear on the record, you believe that the department has made several attempts to assist Mr. Harmon Duckworth in treating his mental health.
Yeah, we've had various conversations and several FTMs to discuss it and how treatment should be best moved forward. We've been met with a lot of resistance.
No further questions, thank you.
Noticed in the court reports that Jackie had transportation from either Orchards or L&L parenting time for all of her parenting times. Is that accurate?
Not all of her parenting time. So the department provides 6 tokens per parent, and they generally get them about every 11 to 14 days when they're active in services. When Jackie could not secure transportation, if she needed a ride being picked up or she needed a ride providing afterwards, then it would be provided, especially on some of those that like 1 to 3 visit where the bus kind of gets a little weird when it's arriving and time of that nature.
Did she ever provide for her own transportation to and from parenting time?
It's my understanding, no.
What about doctor's visits? I noticed that she's been able to attend all the doctor's visits. Was that due to her own transportation and facilitation, or was that also assisted?
No, that one she did on her own. It's my understanding that those did not require the yellow tokens that we gave her, but she did make the arrangements for that transportation on her own.
All right, redirect. More questions based on my questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
I do have more questions based on guardian items questions. It may last a little bit longer than 5 minutes if the court wishes me to do now or when we return. It's up to the court.
I'd like to try to finish with Ms. Copas
Sure.
Before we break for lunch.
Your Honor. I think your answer, and maybe I misunderstood you, in regards to does mom appear to love her son, and it was yes, and I think was the same question regarding father. You would agree that father also loves his son, loves the child, right?
I've seen no evidence of that.
Has he's never told you that he loves the child?
No.
I think your answer was that you do not believe or you do not know that providers have to be trained in ADA compliance.
I was unaware.
You're currently unaware whether they have any ADA training. Is that what I understand?
Correct.
And did you provide them, the providers, what you believed what would be proper ADA compliance? Did you ever provide that to the providers?
In terms of like actual like providing with the ADA, because
Yes, complying with the ADA. Did you provide the providers any documentation, written documentation as what they need to do to comply with the ADA?
no, because the goal wasn't to comply with the ADA, the goal was to make an individualized plan to adhere to Jackie.
So you don't know whether the providers were complying with ADA or not, correct? Is that true?
No, because the goals were made to implement. They were in compliance with the department and the individualized plans that we created for Jackie, yes. But in terms of ADA compliance, no, we did not directly have an ADA plan.
Don't know whether these, you already answered that. The information about my client and any possible disruptions at the CPC, that's all secondhand information. You did not firsthand watch that, correct? Or observe that?
I did not. It was in my correspondence with CDC of Lenawee when they contacted me regarding the letter that they would be sending in regards to the pause and referral out for services when they had told me that it would be coming out.
So based upon your prior answers, it would be fair to assume that you've not provided CPC with any method of how they could comply with ADA and my client.
They created their own self-care plan based on Mr. Harmon Duckler's responses, but no.
My question to you was, you did not provide CPC with any means of what they need to do to comply, correct? Do you know whether CPC has an ADA compliance officer?
I do not know.
you know what the policy of the agency is as far as subcontractors being ADA compliant? Do you know? Have you ever consulted your supervisor regarding that question?
We have, and the department takes on the responsibility, and it's our job to communicate the individualized plan for the parent.
So you communicated with your supervisor whether subcontractors need to have ADA compliance. Is that what I heard?
We did,
And who was the supervisor?
Erica Martin,
And what was her response to that?
that we were already doing it because we were doing individualized plans and that was adhering to the parent's needs.
It sounds as though she did not believe the subcontractors need to be in compliance with ADA. Is that what I'm hearing?
They do need to be in compliance with ADA. We believe that they were in compliance and that they already were in compliance because they had created with the department individualized plans to give the parents an opportunity to participate and to do the program that needed for reunification to best benefit them.
What's the agency's policy for child-parent visits for maximum bonding with an infant child of this age?
It is in the least restrictive and most family-like setting. And in regards to policy, mother has 2 hours twice a week.
Well, they're currently having 4 hours per week.
Yes, she is.
More, and that's the minimum requirements, correct?
It is.
And you also agree that maximum bonding, according to policy, is best done with infants at a young age for successful parent-child bonding, correct?
Correct.
You also agree that more than the minimum requirement may provide better child-parent bonding. Do you agree with that?
I would not.
It may not.
Not in this case. Her bond outweighed the safety risk and mother tends to get overwhelmed in visits, physically becoming labored in her breathing and inability to get around the room.
Why not more visits with less time?
She struggled with what she had. We wanted her to master what she could in the time that she had. And with the time that she had, she struggled.
So she's not mastering 2 hours. Why not break it into, let's say, multiple hours, multiple days per week? Why not that?
It's not proposed to us.
The bond is weak with mom despite her heartfelt attempts. But with the foster family, the child blossoms with ease.
What classes did CPS give you?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
You testified with Mr. Noe that CPS did not give you extra time to learn skills in classes. And I am wondering what classes CPS gave you? What classes did you attend with CPS?
Are you referring to the visits? I wouldn't even know what you're asking.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Mr. Noe asked you, has CPS given you extra time to learn skills in classes? You replied, no. What classes did you take from CPS that they did not give you extra time to learn skills?
I haven't taken any classes from CPS.
Okay.
There was no classes, there was only visits.
Then he asked you, in the classes from CPC or from CPS, were they always in groups or one-on-one? And you said that they were one-on-one at both. What were you referring to when you said both?
Orchards and Linda. Orchards, Linda, and CPC.
Okay, so there were 3 services that you received one-on-one instruction from, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at the Care Pregnancy Center, have they provided you with extra time to go over questions from videos that you watched?
No,
Do they stop the videos and ask if you are understanding what the videos are going over?
they said that they could, they have, they told me that they could stop the videos, but not ask me if I understand them.
Okay. Have you ever told anyone? Sorry about that. Have you ever told anyone at Care Pregnancy Center that you don't understand anything that you were learning on those videos?
No,
During your time with Miss Edwards, you testified that she has not answered questions in a clear manner. Can you give us an example?
I have asked her about what size he would go up to next. When he was 12 months, and she would not, before he was 18 months in size, I would ask, I asked her when he would go up to the next size, and she did not give me a she did not give me a clear answer on when he would go up to the next size. She basically just said whenever he grows, whenever he gets up to the next size.
Why was that not a clear answer for you?
Because I brought, I had, he was, because I had wanted to know when he would what clothes I needed to bring to the visit next, what size clothes I needed to bring to the visit next. So I could not have a smaller size in case he's already grown out of that size.
During family team meetings, do you know what those, do you know what I'm referring to when I say family team meetings?
Yes.
What are they?
FTMs, family team meetings. Basically means that we have before every court.
And who's usually present during the FTMs?
Usually my attorney or my Dakota, Ava, Dakota's attorney, my counselor, Ava, you.
And during, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the attorney ad litem.
And during those meetings, are you asked if you understand what is being discussed?
Yes.
And how do you reply?
Yes.
I let my, I usually let my, lately I've let my counselor reply for me.
And in other conversations with Eva or Linda or your orchards worker or people at Care Pregnancy Center, when they ask if you understand things, how do you reply?
Yes.
What else could the department, well, let me just ask this question. Do you believe that you could take care of your child on your own right now?
Yes.
What food is he eating as a 1-year-old?
He's eating formula, bananas. He tried cake for the first time. He's eating strawberries. He's eating like what was it again? Like strawberry yogurt. I would say he's eating he's eating like applesauce.
I'm going to just interrupt you because you're listing off a lot of foods. So he is in between formula and some solids, correct?
Yeah, some solids,
Okay.
basically.
Okay. And at his age, are there concerns for choking hazards?
There was an incident with my necklace where he did put it in his mouth. Both Linda and I didn't notice that he had put it in his mouth at the time.
Jackie, I'm asking just general development at his age. Are there concerns about choking hazards at his age?
No, I wouldn't say so. If he put stuff in his mouth, he could get hurt. He could get hurt with putting stuff in his mouth. Like if he crawls with it, it could it could like give him like a cut, like something like that. But like it wouldn't like no, he like I would say like no, if he's crawling with it, yes. But not if he's staying still.
If the court were to return the child to your home today, what would he see? What would your home look like to him?
He would a cat, furniture, baby gate, lots of toys, a crib, lots of books.
Where do you have that baby gate at? Or where would it need to go? Sorry.
There's two. Okay. There's one in the kitchen and there's one in like the hallway. We have one in the kitchen and like one in the hallway.
And who would be in his home?
Dakota and my mom. Dakota and my mom are there.
And where would he sleep? Where would his crib be?
Right next to our room.
In a different room or in your room or in the hall?
Basically, right next to our room, like right near our room, in a different room, but like we could still see him. Like basically, like there's two doors, and like we could still see him. Like there's, it's a weird setup. Our house is like a weird setup. It's Dakota calls it a cheese home.
Okay. And do you think that you struggled to change him, whether that's his clothes or his diaper?
No. He does move a lot, but that's normal for a toddler.
Do you think that you understand his cues, like when he's fussy?
Yes.
How do you know when he is hungry?
When it hits like the 4-hour mark, let's say like he ate like, no, they say like, no, he ate at 7, 11. They'll usually start to cry, or he'll usually start to cry and kind of reach for the bottle around that time. So I'll ask if he's hungry, and he'll start to reach for the bottle, and I'll ask if he's hungry. Thank you.
Okay. And how is that different than when he needs to have a diaper change?
Usually when he has a diaper change, he's usually more like heavy, or I usually just smell him, and he just like kind of like smells like he needs to have a diaper change.
So he does not get fussy when he needs a
No.
diaper change?
No.
Does he cry when he's tired?
Yeah, yes. Well, he kind of yawns a lot more when he's tired, and he gets he usually yawns a lot more when he's tired.
So, Ms. Lomas, what else could the department or anyone you've worked with, what else could they have done to help you? I'm going to strike that question. Let me ask a preliminary question here. Do you think that you need any other help to be a safe parent for your child?
I'm not sure. I already no.
So you don't need any other help?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any questions, Mr. McFarland?
Yeah, so what do you think your biggest strengths are as a mom? What are the best things that you can do for your baby as a mom?
My love for my child.
How do you show your love to your son?
Giving him lots of affection, reading to him, showing him that I care, by giving him his basic needs.
Are you a little bit perhaps scared and nervous being up there today?
A little bit.
No. Has your mom been living with you since we were in court the last time?
She's gone back to Washington since we were in court the last time. She's only come back recently.
Okay, thanks. Are things a little calmer with her not there?
I mean, they're about the same. And I mean, she's when she's here, I mean, she's just around.
Let me rephrase it. Is Dakota maybe a little bit calmer with her out there?
I mean, there has been no issues.
Supplies came mostly from agencies, not the parents' effort. And a neighbor altercation even brought police to the scene.
I would say.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Jackie, what disabilities do you believe you have?
Anxiety, ADHD, depression, epilepsy.
Do you believe that you have a learning disability?
I had a in high school I had a
You have an IEP?
yeah, an IEP.
Okay. Is that why you're on SSI?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Are you able to work?
No,
Why not?
because of my anxiety and my epilepsy.
How much do you receive every month for SSI?
I think it's about 1,600. It changed this month, so I mean it changed this year, so I haven't really gotten a chance to look at the paper, look at it so far.
Do you handle your own finances?
Huh?
Do you handle your own finances?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a payee for SSI?
Yes.
Who is that?
My mom.
Do you believe that you have a low IQ?
I'm not really sure.
Do you believe that the IQ testing is accurate?
I guess I'm going to reject based on lack of foundation, lack of qualification, my claiming the answer to that, whether it's accurate or not, whether it's done properly or not. My client's not, she takes the test, I don't know how she's supposed to qualify if it's accurate or not. She's not an expert in this thing, so how would she know if it's accurate?
Did you just respond?
I'm just asking for belief in her own testing. I think it's a fair question.
Anybody else want to weigh in on this?
No.
Yeah, and I agree with Ms. Underwood. I believe that the question was about her own belief and her own opinion. And so I think it's a fair question to ask.
Well, furthermore, the issue has been raised as to whether or not Ms. Loomis has acknowledged that she needs additional services as a result of potentially identified concerns in that area as a result of 2 different tests. And that was discussed as recently as today. So I am interested in her answer. Ms. Underwood, I'm going to overrule the objection. Will you please repeat the question?
Do you believe that the testing, IQ testing that was part of your psyche eval was accurate?
I wouldn't really know.
You indicate that, or your attorney has indicated that accommodations have not been appropriately made for you. Do you say that's accurate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Your attorney has stated that proper accommodations have not been made by the department on your behalf. Would you agree with the fact you don't believe that accommodations have been made for you?
Yes.
Why do you need accommodations?
To better help my, to help with my parenting skills.
But what?
Because I'm disabled, because I will have a disability, and because it's required under ADA law.
So what disability under the ADA are we not accommodating? Is the department not appropriately accommodating?
I mean, I have anxiety, I have anxiety, and epilepsy, and I've established many times I have anxiety.
So what could the department have done differently to accommodate your anxiety that they have not done? It's okay if you're not sure, or I can give you more answer if you need it.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I'm asking you, what could the department have done to accommodate your anxiety if you're saying the department hasn't given you the proper accommodations?
I'm not sure.
No further questions.
Okay, any redirect?
Briefly, thank you. Jack, you were asked questions from the department's attorney about the case service plan. When I say case service plan, do you remember what that document is?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't really.
Do you remember signing a case service plan?
Yes, I do.
Um,
I don't think I have it here with me today.
when you signed it, did you believe you were supposed to sign it?
I don't really know if I was supposed to sign it. I was told I was supposed to sign it.
Do you feel pressured to sign it?
No, I was just told that I was supposed to sign it.
Did anyone from the department ever sit down with you and carefully explain what those steps included on the case service plan?
I don't really believe so.
Okay. Would that have helped if somebody would have sat down and helped you with that, read through that?
I mean, I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Yes. Would it have helped if somebody from the department would have sat down with you and looked at that case service plan and explained it in simple language to you?
I mean, it might have.
Thank you, thank you. You were asked, actually by 2 attorneys now, if you're disabled or if you have a disability. Do you know what that question means when somebody asks you that question?
Yes.
What does that question mean to you?
It means that basically if I have like a functioning like a mental or physical disability, and stating if I can think or walk properly or something like that, or if somewhat of that nature.
And you explained, like questions from both attorneys, that you do not believe you have a disability. Is that correct?
I've stated that I do have a disability.
Okay, all right. Do you think that disability, restrict that question. Did you find things that the department wanted you to do or explaining your ways that were confusing or hard to follow?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. Did some of the things the department wanted you to do that they were explained to you, were those things hard to understand or follow?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you believe instructions could have been given that would have been easier for you to follow and understand?
Yes.
Do you, I'm gonna strike that question. Do you think it would help you better understand what the department wants from you if there was somebody on the family team who can work with you with the department on coordinating your accommodations based on your disability?
Yes.
Has there been a person like that on the family team thus far?
Not to my knowledge. No.
No further questions.
All right, any recross, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I do briefly. We may have used some words that you're not real familiar with. You may not know what they mean. We've used the word anxious and anxiety. Can you tell us what anxiety means to you?
Basically, I like, you know, you could see now, like, I'm like playing with my fingers. That's like me being nervous. Like when I'm like playing with my necklace, like, you know, that's me being nervous. That's like little tics that I do when I'm like, you know, anxious or like nervous. Sometimes I'll have like, you know, a panic attack when I'm like, you know, or I call it like, no, it's more like, you know, an anxiety attack, like a panic attack. I haven't had those a lot, like, I haven't had those in a while, but I'll get like, overwhelmed, and I'll have I'll have like a panic attack and hyperventilate, or go to like my sometimes like my arms would feel like dirt cold, like shivering, or stutter a lot, like.
Have you ever had these things happen to you when you met with Linda Edwards or with CPS, your worker?
When I'm in a family team meeting, with like Ava, when like I'm in a family team meeting, when Ava was asking me questions about things, usually I stutter a lot, or I'll pause when she's asking me questions. Like, for example, not this family team meeting, but the last family team meeting, I couldn't answer a question because I was having like an anxiety attack.
Okay. I noticed you took some time answering some questions today. Are you a little nervous right now?
A little bit.
Okay, thanks. Being truthful. So question is, let's say when you have family team meetings, what could we do so you don't feel nervous, so you don't have these panic attacks? What are some of your maybe ideas?
Usually, usually I don't ask it, but if like I could step out of
Take a
the
breather,
room.
you mean?
Huh?
Take a breather, step out?
Yeah,
Okay, take a little break.
yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, that's it.
Has anybody ever asked you that question like I've asked you right now?
No.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Any additional cross-examination, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. All right, we're at 4 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have additional witnesses for us today, Mr. Noe?
I do not.
Mrs. McFarland?
I do, my client.
Very good. Do you feel that a half an hour is enough time for that?
Can we?
Or would you like me to look at a different day?
I think we'll need more than half an hour.
Yeah.
Your Honor. Let me just,
Mr. Harmon, please try not to interrupt.
I think we're on the same page that we're gonna need more than half hour realistically, Your Honor.
Well, would you all like to rejoin me in the morning, tomorrow morning, or Wednesday morning? I have time either morning. At 9. Tomorrow we-
I unfortunately have neither of those available to me.
All right, Friday afternoon, beginning at 1:30.
Just checking my calendar, Your Honor.
And finally, the spotlight shifts to DHS accountability. Failure to provide ADA support leaves major questions. That's all for today's breakdown. Don't forget to like,